Okay, this is the video for oil pastel practice. So you'll find this sheet in your sketchbook. You need a sheet of newsprint paper, you need some oil pastels, you're going to need a popsicle stick, and you might want to have your pencil just to jot some things down. So these are different ways that you can use the oil pastels. These are not all the ways, these are just some of them, and regardless of all of these techniques, one thing that you should know about oil pastels is they're meant to be blended. So I really want you to think of them as paint in stick form. So they're really meant to be more like paint and less like crayons. So I'm gonna start and just show you these. I might jot down a couple of things. You might wanna take some notes as I go here on the side so you can remember how to do these. So this heavy pressure mixing, you're gonna use one pastel. I'm just gonna show you for the first one what I would write down. Well, it doesn't have to necessarily be one pastel. It could be one or two or three, I guess. You're gonna write down, you're gonna go in one direction, not the band, and you're gonna use heavy pressure. And you are gonna layer. And you're gonna hear me say layer like 100 times. Okay, so heavy pressure, one direction, and you're gonna layer. So one direction could be like this, and you're pushing down hard on the pastel. One direction could also be like this, so like a spiral. And so you can layer, so you can take like another pastel over the top, and you can layer this. Okay, so heavy pressure, pushing down hard, going all in one direction. Not like crazy different ways. Okay, light pressure, you're still gonna layer and it's gonna create more texture. So you're gonna use a light texture, so light pressure. You can still do different ones. This is gonna be a little more subtle with the mixing. I'll throw in a different color, maybe you can sort of see. I'm sort of using the side of the pastel so I get kind of like that texture. So I'm almost creating a neutral in here, all right? So color mixing is blending and layering the colors. So you're mixing two different colors together. So let's see what I can get here. I'm gonna start, most of the times when you work with oil pastel, you're sort of working in one direction, or we call that directional shading, where you shade in the direction of the object that you're trying to fill. So maybe I'll do this. Let's throw some red in here. Let's really mix this up. So layering and blending. I'm kind of making my own sort of purple color. Go back and forth. So I pick up the pastel and go a couple different times. Okay, so color mixing. I pushed down really hard on the pastel there so you could see that. So stippling is short, small, choppy strokes. So choppy strokes. And so this would be like layer one. Like you wouldn't just leave it like that. That's kind of boring. So you would go back over it again with more of these little choppy strokes. This is another great technique for creating texture. So I go again. So you're layering, you're basically mixing right on the paper with these short choppy strokes. So let's try this red, really bright. That's crazy. But I'm going for it. Okay, so that's stippling. So scrambling is controlled scribbles, which some of you are gonna love. And you're gonna have, you should see some value. You're kind of building up your texture. So it's like controlled scribbles. Actually, I'm gonna go with something darker. Let's see. So you're building up layers. So you should get some value. You should also see a lot of texture. Hey, guess what I'm doing? I'm layering pastels. Bet you didn't think you were gonna hear that again. Okay, sgraffito. So you're gonna overlap 2 or 3 different colors of pastels, kind of thick layers. So I'm gonna start with this blue. So I'm doing some heavy pressure here on the pastel. Some of you might recognize this technique, possibly. And then I'm gonna put something over the top. Let's see what happens. Okay. I'm going to take my popsicle stick, and you actually can scrape away and create texture. So you can do, I just did like little C's there, but you can use the side of the popsicle stick. It has kind of like a ridge, so it gives you this like double edge. Isn't that cool? to create really cool texture. You could like draw into that with the popsicle stick. And then gradient, this is one of my favorites. So it's going from dark to light. So I usually start with just one pastel. You put kind of like a medium pressure, don't push too hard. And then I've got a lighter blue here. And I kind of overlap. I'm layering my colors. I'm actually go back and do this darker blue. Now I'm going to lighten up my pressure a lot. So I'm going very, very light as I'm going down into the middle there. And then on the end, I could do like this pale green color. I could also do a white if I wanted. Let me see. Mix. And then as I get kind of towards the middle, as I start to overlap, I kind of lighten up my pressure. I'm going to take that white a little further up there. So gradient, dark to light. And gradients can be in curves and curve spaces. And then your choice, you decide what you want to do. You know, how do you want to use the pastels? Do you want to combine some of these techniques? It's up to you. All right, good luck. Be neat and take your time.